If you're like me and you really appreciate a good professional setup, a camera and a good lens, if you are nitpicking in search for finding the perfect setup for you as a professional photographer, this video is for you. And if you are looking for travel and family photos, for snapshots, this might be a little bit boring, but nonetheless, stay with me until the end and you'll find out what are my favorite things and the things that I hate about the FujiFilm XT3. What is good, guys? Chris here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about the FujiFilm XT3, the camera that I recently bought. Actually, I trade, like I said in my previous videos, I trade my full frame setup of Sony cameras for two amazing cameras, the FujiFilm XT3 and the FujiFilm X Pro 2. Now, today we're gonna talk about my favorite stuff about the XT3 and the things that I hate the most. They're probably equal, but nonetheless, this is a spoiler alert. I do love the camera, I do enjoy it, so that doesn't change anything. I just want to make sure that you guys understand, and if you want to, go buy this camera, I want you to know exactly what to expect. Now, first of all, the design of this camera, and this might be a little bit subjective. For me, it's amazing. I do love the retro design of the Fujifilm cameras with the knobs, with the dials and buttons. They have great additions like the joystick and also the EVF. It's super bright. The back screen, it has a great resolution. So I believe that the design overall, it's great. It's a very nice camera to hold all day. I'm using an XT3 cold grip from Fuji to just increase the grip a little bit because I have huge hands. But even without this, I didn't have any problems. I put a lot of strain on my wrist, but I didn't have problems holding the camera. So this is probably the best design that I will go for if I want to buy a camera. Now, the second thing is probably one that you guys know already. It's all about the colors. The Fuji colors are beautiful. They're soft and warm. They're very inviting. They're colors that you can easily just go ahead and send the JPEGs to your clients and they will never know that you didn't edit, especially if you're shooting in appropriate color profiles and simulations. So like I said, the colors might be subjective, but I do love the way the JPEGs looks out of the camera. And if I need to deliver the photos the same night, some of them for their social media, my couples are always asking for that. I can easily just give them the JPEGs and they'll be super happy because they look amazing. Another perk that I want to mention is the fact that the battery grip on these cameras are special. And I'm gonna say special because you probably saw my previous video when I bought the Makey grip with the Wasabi batteries. They didn't match, they didn't wanna work together. But the grips in general, the electronic grips that you can use on these cameras are amazing for one particular reason. You can use 3 batteries, 1 in the camera, 2 in the grip, and have 3 batteries in the camera. For an event photographer, that is the most important thing, to be able to never ever think about losing power, thinking about your camera is gonna shut down because you have to change the battery. I know that Nikon is doing the same, but I love Fuji for doing that and for keeping that on mirrorless cameras. I am so confident having 3 batteries in a camera to go ahead and shoot the entire day. I'll probably switch 1 or 2 batteries in the grip, but definitely I will never get to the battery in the camera. So thank you, Fuji. Amazing feature. Now, when I said colors, I said color profiles and film simulations. This is probably the most amazing perk that you can get, especially if you are shooting fast, especially if you're shooting a lot of photos, and especially if you're very confident in shooting JPEG. If you want to shoot JPEG with these cameras are able to provide amazing quality due to film simulations. I'm shooting in Eterna, I'm shooting Estia most of the time because they're soft, they're beautiful, but I can definitely shoot in iCross every time I'm going out and shoot street photography. And being able to have this option to always change the look of your photos just with a click of a button, it's great. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the f-log and the ability to shoot on a high dynamic range with a very flat profile and be able to edit and color grading. I know that not everyone wants to do that, but for us content creators, for people like me who are doing YouTube and, you know, maybe small productions like for clients and stuff like that, the ability to have f-log inside the camera and shoot on that flat profile, then color grade the way you want it, it's great. Well, this is pretty much it in terms of what I've loved, except from the fact that I do love the camera as it is. So I didn't want to push everything on and make you believe that I am a fanboy and I'm loving everything about it, because it's not true. There are a few things that I really hate. And let's start with the most obvious one, which is battery life. So if you're buying the X-T3, you have to expect buying another 4 or 5 batteries depending on your kind of job. If you're shooting events like myself, you will probably need at least 4 batteries and probably a grip. But if you don't buy the grip, just buy the batteries, because you'll definitely need them. Don't go for the third-party batteries, because you saw what happened with the batteries and the grip that I was using. Strange fact is that those batteries are working perfect in the camera. Camera doesn't say anything, it doesn't shut down or anything. They're draining faster than the original ones, but they're working well. So if you want to have a backup, like 2 or 3 third-party batteries, you can buy those, but buy at least 3 or 4 original batteries and have them with your X-T3, because the battery life, it's, from what I've heard, the X-T4 has an improved battery, so I can't wait to get my hands on one of those and test it and see how that improvement actually acts and how big the improvement is. But for now, I'm shooting X-T3 and I have to deal with it. Another quirk that I will probably bitch about, because being, like I said, an event photographer, I'm coming over and over again and saying this because I'm basically telling you all these things about the X-T3 from the point of view of an event photographer myself. Fujifilm missed a button on this camera, and I believe that if you are a professional photographer, you know what I'm talking about. It's the AF on button, which you can't find anywhere. It doesn't have an AF on dedicated button. It's a bit weird, because this one is a professional camera. It's weather sealed, it's rugged. You can shoot events with it. You can shoot any type of photography with it. So why not a back button focus? Why not an AF on dedicated button on the back? I know that XH1 has it, if I'm not mistaken, but I would love to have it here on the X-T3. I would love to have it on the X Pro 2. I'm not sure if the X Pro 3 has it. Please put your comments in the box down below and let me know if you guys bought the X Pro 3. Does it have an AF on button on the back of the camera? I'm not sure, because like I said, I'm a little bit new to the Fujifilm family, and I'm trying to get used to all these cameras and you know, the perks and the quirks that they have, and the additions and the missings and all that stuff. So yeah, this is something that I really hate, the fact that I don't have a dedicated AF on button on the back. I already set up my AEL button, the exposure lock button, to be an AF on, because that's the easiest way I reach this button. But you know, it would be nice to have it. Now, because I talked about the back of the camera, I am gonna say a few words about the joystick. I don't have a problem with it because it's a bit small. It is small and it feels a little bit weird. After you're using it, you know, 3-4 hours in case of an event, you will probably start to feel a little bit of numbness on the thumb, in the top of your, on the peak of your thumb, because you're always using your thumb to move this, and being small, it kind of digs in your skin and you will feel that numbness. It's not a big deal, you're getting used to it, but something that is gonna be tough for me to get used to, it's the placement of it. For the fact that it's a little bit too low, and I have, like I said, big hands, even with the grip, my hand is not gonna be close to this, and I'm always bending my thumb a little bit too much and put a lot of strain and pressure on this higher part of my thumb. And I feel that after like 2-3 hours of shooting, I tested it a little bit, shooting around and just holding it and try to track stuff by moving the F points all the time, and I felt that strain, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing. I think the problem with being small could have been avoided, but if there was a switch between the quick menu button and the joystick, would have been a great idea, because my thumb, and like I said, I have big hands, falls naturally on the Q button, so I'm not sure. It might be just me, but I feel that it's a little bit too low. Now the next one, I think that everybody talked about it. It's the fact that the shutter button has some sort of flimsiness. It actually moves very easy, left, right, up, down, and it feels like it's gonna fall off. I always have the feeling that I'm gonna break it. I'm not sure if that happened in the past to anyone, but I believe that they're very solid shutter buttons. So it's just in my head, but the fact that it's a little bit too flimsy and my finger moves all the time on it and it feels like it's not stable, it's not, solid, it's a little bit bothering. But I think it's just a matter of just getting used to it, and then you won't notice it. Now the last one, I actually made a list of the things that I don't like, because they're not so important, they're more like, nitpicking, and I am very famous of doing that. The buttons on this camera are feeling a little bit cheap. I don't know if that was intended by Fujifilm, I don't think so, but the fact that they're plasticky and they click like plastic, and I will let you hear this. Yeah, so for me it's a little bit too plasticky, and having the knobs all metal on top. These buttons should have been probably a little bit softer in contacts, either that or maybe have a little bit more travel, so you won't hear that every time you're clicking. I don't know, maybe it's again a subjective stuff, just a nitpicking stuff for me, but I think for some this might be bothering, because like I said, when you're playing with your camera without looking at it and you're pressing the buttons, you feel like you're pressing on a toy. Nonetheless, this is probably the best camera I've ever used in terms of usability and maneuverability and look and the image quality and everything. I'm super happy with it. Now, as conclusions, I don't even know what to say. It's simple. Buy this camera if you have the chance. I think that they have deals right now. I'm gonna put some links in the description below if you want to. They're not affiliate. I'm just gonna help you go ahead and look if you wanna buy one of these cameras. But buy it, because I believe that the X-T4, it's more inclined towards videography, as much as I heard about it and as much as I read about it. So if you are looking for photography only and videography, not amazing but great videography, I am pretty sure that there are a lot of wedding videographers and event videographers using the X-T3. The only big issue that I see at this point is the battery life. But if you are like me and you don't care about having the last and the fast, and you are more like looking for the old and the gold, well, this is a gold camera, not very old. It will probably hold for another 3-4 years for sure. So go ahead and buy it. This is my recommendation, and that's it. For those of you who are not subscribed to the channel, guys, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, it's not that hard. Hit the notification bell as well, so you'll know all the time when I'm putting videos up. And share these videos with your friends. Put your comments in the box down below and let me know what other quirks and perks you found with your X-T3. Also, like these videos, give them a thumbs up, it helps me a lot, and I will definitely see you soon.